you guys want to watch this later. We'll see if it works. Down here where it says Jeunesse opened its doors on September 9th, all of that stuff right there, you can actually make that go away. But let's just say that it's your very first time showing somebody and you like have no idea what to say. You could honestly just read from that. And I actually have had people that have done that. They like read from that because they feel more confident until they kind of know and their knowledge base is bigger. It kind of gives them kind of just what to say and helps them along the way. Rod, I should tell you a little story about why, and maybe Mandy shared this with you, like how Scott and I really got started with this. Like we had no desire ever to do network marketing. That was not something that was like on our playlist with our life. It wasn't on my vision board when I was 10. You know, I mean, my goal was to kind of, I loved health and fitness. I knew that I wanted to do something in the fitness realm. And so I actually ended up getting a degree in business and Phi Ed. That's what my 4-year degree was in. But I knew I didn't want to necessarily be a physical education teacher just because I wanted to make more money than that, to be honest with you. So then I just started personal training clients, and I kind of started with that genre where I was just had my own gym. We actually had 2 locations in Bismarck, Scott and I. He was a financial planner, and he had 2 offices, one in Bismarck and one in Dickinson, and he was kind of driving back and forth. And we had our oldest son, Bo. He was like about 3 at the time, and people started approaching me with network marketing, and honestly, I just had no desire at all, like 0 desire. When people would talk to me about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm just not interested. I'm really happy with what I'm doing. And so it was kind of a couple of years of probably that I had got approached quite a bit. Well, when Bo was 6 years old, we got pregnant with our second son, Truett. And after I had him, I literally was like working to the bone at my gym. I was nursing my baby every 3 hours. I was getting to the gym at 5 a.m. to train clients. I was putting in 14 to 16 hours at the gym, because if you're going to be a business owner, how you make money is you show up. You show up to teach classes or train clients. And I had about 4 employees, and I realized in a hurry that I didn't really like employees, not because they weren't kind people, but they just didn't have the vested interest like I did, because I was investing the money, and they were just they'd show up when they wanted to show up type thing, and I'd get calls from people saying, oh, the instructor forgot to show up at the 5 a.m. class, so I'd be back down there anyway. So it was kind of a joke. So I just decided at one point I only had about 2 employees, and I cut back, and I was teaching like 18 exercise classes a week, and I was exhausted. And I remember saying to Scott, my husband's a financial planner, so he'd always say, Renita, you got to get a plan B. Like, what happens if you break a knee or something, or, slip on the ice and break a wrist? Like, who's going to teach all these classes? Like, what are you going to do? And if you're not showing up, you're not making money. And Mandy, that's probably a little bit like you too. If you would ever get injured, like with a wrist or something like that, it would be hard to do hair, right? And so I never really thought about that, because I thought, oh, what the heck, I'm just rocking it and I'm fine. That's not going to happen. Well, Scott always said you need a plan B, and he said you're always telling people they should go try this product, or they should go do this, or he said you're always recommending things, and he said the problem is GNC is not paying you. You're sending people to Cashwise grocery store to buy fish oil. They're not paying you. He's like, no one's like sending you checks in the mail, and you're referring all these things out. He said, there's got to be a company you can align with. And I'm like, you know what? I just hate network marketing. And so to make a long story short, when Bo was 6, somebody presented me with the opportunity. It was then called Monavie. And I said, you know what? We're really not interested. She said, my girlfriend, really helped my husband's arthritis in his knees. Jerry, his name was. And she said, I think it'll help Scott's knee, because hasn't Scott had 7 knee surgeries? And I said, yeah. And so she said, well, take these 2 bottles home and give it to Scott and see if it helps his knee. Well, Scott started drinking this juice, the Monavie juice back then, and which, by the way, is still in our fridge to this day, 10 years later. He started drinking that juice, and it was like within a couple weeks, he literally was like coming back to life. His knee pain was diminishing. He had the vitality to get up and exercise again. Like, it was crazy. And I said, well, what the heck is in that juice? I think it's a placebo effect. It's like almost like you think you're doing something healthy for yourself, and all of a sudden you come to life again, And he said, no, he said, you know what? My knee really does feel better. And I was like, geez, wow, what's in there? And that's where I really kind of got knowledgeable about antioxidants and liquid glucosamine and kind of just like nutrients that can absorb very quickly into your body. So To make a long story short, I didn't want to sign up for it, but I ended up signing up because I wanted my husband to continue to drink the juice. I wasn't even drinking it at the time. I just thought, boy, if Scott's knee feels better, he started exercising again. He wasn't getting migraine headaches anymore. I'm like, I'm in. Like, I'm going to sign up just so my husband can feel good. Well, in a hurry, I took the bottle down to my exercise studio, and I was pouring shots for all the older ladies at a Silver Shoes class. And they thought we were drinking wine because it looks like a wine bottle. And they were all cheering. And I said, hey, listen, it's like 30 times the antioxidants of wine. And they started drinking it. They all took a shot that day. And 20 of the women wanted a bottle of juice. And I remember thinking to myself, holy crap, like I don't have 20 bottles of this juice to sell these women. I literally just bought 8 bottles like for Scott to drink. You know what I mean? I never thought I was going to like do a business with this thing. And, but because everybody wanted a bottle of juice, they wanted to just buy a bottle from me. I was like, I called the gal that sponsored me and I said, how do I do this business? Like, how do I do this thing? And she goes, I said, do you have some juice? Like, I need to buy some juice from you so I can turn around and sell it to these ladies at my gym. And she's like, yeah. And Scott and I at the time had no money. Like, we had just invested $40,000 into the gym. Like, we were broke. And I just didn't have any money, like at all. And I said, listen, I can't go do a big bulk order of this juice. And she said, because my sponsor said you can do a bulk order and turn around and sell it. I said, I don't want like a warehouse of this juice. And she's like, well, let me just order it for you, Renita, and you can sell these bottles. Well, fast forward it. I mean, within the first 7 weeks of that business, we had earned $7,900. Like, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I didn't have a mentor, like someone showing me how I'm about to show you guys. I didn't have that person. Like, I literally hopped in and learned everything I could from my up line, and then started training the gal who sponsored me. Like, she had no knowledge. And so we were like the 150th people signed up in Bismarck at the time. And in like within 8 weeks, we passed everybody in the Midwest. From North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Montana, we became like the fastest growing rank. And that was like without a mentor. It was just literally like, it was like this organic business where I told people, and then these old women were coming back and they were like, oh my gosh, my knees feel better. I didn't have a hot flash last night. And then they would tell like 5 of their friends. And I mean, it literally spread like wildfire. And I was like, oh my goodness. So within 8 weeks after we had made $7,900, Scott said, we really should take a look at the business to understand the business, Renita, because maybe you could possibly get out of working 16 to 18 hours a day at the gym. I'm like, that would be awesome, because I was trying to nurse the baby and it was crazy, right? And I was at the time I was working on my doctorate in holistic nutrition, so I was taking these 600, 700 level classes. I mean, it was obscene what I was going through. But then we realized that if we kept up the pace, like we could just like that could replace my income at my gym pretty much in a hurry. So we made kind of a plan that by the 6th month mark, I'd have shut down the gym and I would just hang on to a couple of those close clients that I would need. So to make a long story short, in the first year of doing the business, this is 10 years ago now, the first year we made $46,000. Like, we started in June and that went through December, and that was not really that much money, $46,000, but for never having done network marketing and not really having a mentor and doing everything wrong on the front end, it was like incredible to me. The second year we made $96,000. The third year we made $250,000. I mean, it just continued to snowball because we literally were growing a team of people. And it was not because I was such a great network marketer. I was just super passionate about health. I mean, that's the bottom line with me. Like, I love people getting well. And when they get healthy, it's funny how they want to, everybody that's around them says, what are you doing? Like, I want to do what you're doing because I want to be healthy. I want to feel young and vibrant and lose 30 pounds and have less stress on my knees, you know? So it was kind of just a real organic thing that happened for Scott and I. But what happened is about a year and a half ago, the company Jeunesse, which is awesome. There couldn't have been a better company. They came in and they bought the company Mandy. So Scott and I always feel like we've really only been with one network marketing company, and that was Mandy, and then Jeunesse bought us. So like, we haven't been with 10 network marketing companies. We're not like the notorious network marketing crazy people that like jump from company to company and like drag everybody with them. Like, we literally, I feel like we're super loyal. We're super like cemented, and we want to finish what we start. Like, and we just like, if we make promises to people that we're going to help them, like, we're going to do it. So that's kind of how we roll in our business. But Jeunesse, to a little bit about them, it says We Live Jeunesse on the screen. You guys can kind of see that. And I'm going to get rid of this other stuff over here. Slideshow. Hang on a second, from beginning. So I think this probably will get rid of that wording on the bottom. But from basically when we really looked at Jeunesse, when they first bought us, I said to Scott, I don't even know if I believe in this company. Like, who are they? And so actually we were really high leaders in the Monavie company. So Jeunesse flew us out to Florida to show us the opportunity. And when we got there, I said to Scott, I mean, praise God. Like, I felt like a better company couldn't have bought us. Because I told Scott, if we get down there and they're using a bunch of artificial sweeteners and a bunch of crap in their products, I'm tapping out. Like, we're going to have to find something else. And we got down there, and it was like, it couldn't have been any better aligning, because I'm very natural health oriented. Like, I love natural health. I hate chemicals and things like that. So for me, I'm like, if these nutritional products have a bunch of like dyes and crap in them, I'm not going to do it. And so we got down there, and they just embraced us. And like I was telling Mandy, like, we're super in tight with developing the whole Zen line, because Jeunesse did not have a Zen line with Mark McDonald leading the show, which I'll show you in a second. So we're going to flip through this chart. This chart is accessible to you guys too. So let's say you want to show with somebody else like how to do this. This is basically what I would do. I'd pull up this flip chart and I'd show it to them. And so we live Jeunesse. The word Jeunesse means young. That's what the word literally means. And if you guys have questions as we go here, like just like pop in there and tell me, okay? Because I can just talk, but I'm going to try to get through it quick so that you guys can get on with your day with your family. But so this is kind of their motto. The Jeunesse family creates a positive impact in the world by helping people look and feel young while empowering each other to unleash their potential. I mean, really, that's the truth. I see it every day. And that's just even with the products themselves. I feel like that's what I do with the Zen Project 8. I literally help people to look and feel young. I think about Leota, you know, who's down 98.5 pounds. She's off her blood pressure medication and her diabetes medication. She's literally like a different woman at 80 years old. She's swinging the kettlebell. She does alternating kettlebell swings at 80. I mean, come on. So I feel like we totally do that. And then in addition to that, Leota comes to parties every single week, and she brings people with her to share how she got started with Zen Project 8. So it's literally like, look, now this 80-year-old woman is growing a business, which is just crazy to think about. But anybody can do it. That just goes to show you anybody can do it. So obviously, you know, for a long time, I never thought I was going to do network marketing. I actually, at a certain point, I decided after our second year in the business, when we had made $100,000, that I probably wasn't going to go finish my doctorate, because I honestly didn't want to just open a facility and have bricks and mortar again, where I was going back to that type of, where I was tied down. Like, I liked having the freedom and flexibility, like, especially because I was nursing my son, and like, we are super on the move with our family, and I didn't want to have to ask for time off or anything like that. So I love the flexibility that came along, kind of along with the industry. This is Randy Ray and Wendy Lewis and their son, Scott Lewis. They literally are amazing people. This guy on the left, he came from nothing. Like, he tells the story of how they used to eat like mud pies, because like they literally were starving to death as children because they were so poor when he was a kid. But his goal was to be a millionaire by the time he was 25. And he went to school. He became like this engineer, and he actually built kind of the back office for NASA. So when he sold his like computer software to NASA, I think they paid him something like $3 million, and I think he was 24 years old. So obviously he hit his goal. And to this day, NASA still uses that software that this Randy Ray created. So, I mean, they're super sharp people. They've had good success with their lives. Wendy, this gal, she's like won every business leader award, and it kind of talks there. She's the most influential women in business in 2012 and 2015. And I mean, they're just all over the media now, because they are the fastest network marketing company growth-wise in the world right now. Currently, this is kind of an older chart, but they're number one in the world for growth. For just, I mean, last year they did $1 billion in 2015. This year already, and the year's not over yet. 2016 is not over yet. They're at 1.1 billion. So what I do love about them is they have super deep pockets. It's not like it's some startup company. They started back in 2009 already. But like I was telling Mandy, they launched basically globally. They launched in 130 different countries before even coming to the U.S. And that was a good thing, because when we were with Manavie hit $1 billion in the U.S. like by year about 3. But what happened is when they started to drop, then their natural inkling was, let's go open Mexico, let's go open Canada. And they kind of did it halfway. They couldn't really do it right because their money was starting to slide back down. Whereas Jeunesse, they went and launched globally first and said, okay, now we have super deep pockets. Let's come back and launch the U.S. That way, if business ebbs and flows, we're not going to go broke because we have all these other markets to kind of fall back on. So I love that the company is rock solid in the fact that it's not going away, because that was a big thing with network marketing that I learned over the years. Here's what I learned about network marketing. You always want a consumable product that people want more of every month. They want to order more of it because they like it. They need more of it. So that's why people that do other network marketing companies, let's say that the Sensi or things like that, which I could never get passionate about anyway because I don't give a rip about that. I like health. I love health. And so, but sometimes after you have enough candles or bags, these women that sell these bags, after you have enough of that stuff, like you don't just reorder every month, like you're done with it. What I love about our product line is we have constant consumers that love the product and they want more of it every month. So this is kind of like all of the lineup. They call it the YES system. And so YES means the youth enhancement system. So they really help people externally and internally. So the product that you guys are obviously most familiar with, Mandy, is the Zen Project 8, and I'm going to show you that in a second. But they have everything from the Reserve, which this is exactly like our Monavie juice, except it's in a gel pack. So for people that have arthritis, or let's say they have heart problems or high blood pressure, things like that, it's amazing. It's amazing for inflammation. So like my boys even, they're super, super athletic. They squeeze down a pack of this post-race, because the number one thing, I love how Dr. Oz said, the number one thing we should all have post-workout is large amounts of antioxidants to get the inflammation out of our bodies. And so most people would say have protein. Well, we need protein too, but we also need antioxidants. So it's a simple way just to squeeze it down. Many people just throw it in their gym bag, and it's awesome because it kind of reduces the inflammation in the joints. So we love the Reserve, and you can throw it in your bag like for your gym bag, or we also have a lot of cyclists that use it because they can take it with them when they're on the roadways. So I love that product. And then the Finity is an amazing product. I can't get into the depth of this, but the science behind this one is crazy amazing. It's actually, and I never heard the word telomeres, but Scott and I last year, Janess, we had won a free trip to the country of Singapore. So I didn't necessarily want to go to Singapore because I was like 23 hours in a plane. It sounds like a long time, but we went because it was free and it was amazing. I'm so thankful we went. But when we got over to Singapore, we heard all these like literally world-renowned doctors that have like won, like they've been nominated for Nobel Prizes and crazy stuff like that. They're like amazing scientists. And they talked about this Finity and how it elongates telomeres in humans. And that's kind of the science of the future. If you just Google that, telomeres, telomere lengthening, it's crazy what'll come up. But literally we have this Finity, and it has an ingredient in there called TA65. It's been clinically shown to elongate telomeres in humans, which is basically telomeres hang off the ends of our cells. And so as we get older, our telomeres shorten. So when we're kids, like in our children's age, we have long, healthy telomeres. And the aging process shortens those telomeres. And then we get sick and we get diseases, and it's kind of the aging process. Well, what that Finity supplement does is it literally elongates telomeres in humans. So it was crazy. But one of the main things that I see that I never really talk that much about on Facebook is before we went to Singapore, I had all these women on my team calling me saying, Renita, is it possible that I wouldn't have to get my hair colored as often? I've been taking the Finity. I'm like, I don't know. That just seems weird. Well, here I went over to Singapore, and I sat next to this little doctor. I'll tag you guys in the Facebook post. She was a doctor. She's out in California practicing. She's a Chinese trained doctor. And she said, I got her grandmother, who was 90 years old at the time, on the Finity products. And she said she had only about 20% of her hair on her head. She was like this frail little old woman who was like 90 pounds, and she got her on the Finity, and within 3 months, 80% of her hair had grown back. And when it grew back at the original color, black, this little Asian woman. So when I heard this Asian doctor talking to me about what this Finity did, I thought, oh my gosh, these women in North Dakota aren't lying, because they were all calling me saying, Renita, it's really weird. I usually get my hair colored every 4 weeks, and it's been like 6 weeks and I don't have to get it dyed yet. And I'm like, I don't know. That just seems bizarre. But after this little doctor, she said that Finity is amazing for telomeres. And so she was talking about that. So it's an incredible product. I could talk all day about that because the science is so great. And then, of course, the Zen Project 8, which is my passion. I would say 75 to 80% of the people I sign up because of the Zen Project 8. because it literally teaches people how to nourish themselves through blood sugar stabilization so they never have to diet again. And the beautiful thing is it can be for people that are overweight or obese, which is about 75 to 80% of our population right now. That's my target market. But it's also great for athletes. So a lot of times, like, I know that you're a coach, and like I go into a lot of the school systems here in North Dakota, the colleges even, and I educate people basically how to eat PFC every 3. So they can stabilize their blood sugar so they don't have those peaks and valleys. So we can kind of get them out of that carb loading mentality, which is just an old-fashioned false mentality. Our bodies can't store carbohydrates like that. And so Zen Project 8 kind of is everything. It's got the protein shakes that people can use for meal replacement. It's great for pre or post-workout. I love the amino acids. They have the Zen Fit. So my son, Bo, when he's out there running 60 miles a week for cross country, you know, every day he's drinking these Zen Fit. Like, he loves them. They taste like watermelon and fruit punch. I love it. Like Mark McDonald says, when you consume one of those Zen Fit, it literally breaks down in your body like you just had 20 grams of complete protein. So they're awesome for amino acids. And then there's the whole, of course, the Zen Project 8 for the 8-week system where people learn how to lose weight, which I'll talk about in a second. And then AM and PM is kind of the supplement. It's like a multivitamin gone amazing. Like, it's multivitamins and minerals and trace minerals and probiotics and prebiotics and digestive enzymes and antioxidants. It's like the one-stop shop. So you take the AM in the morning because you need certain supplements and nutrients in the morning. That's why people drink coffee in the morning, because it literally has certain nutrients in it that are going to turn on those genes that you need for vitality and energy. And then in the PM, you take that at night because it helps people to get in those deep, restful stages of sleep so they can, you know, kind of heal. And most people that have problems sleeping, sometimes I simply hand out AM and PM. Like, I give them 3 AM and 3 PM, and I'm like, call me in 3 days and tell me if you feel better. And it's crazy because they're like, oh my gosh, I went to bed and I didn't wake up until my alarm clock went off. So it's an awesome, awesome supplement. My son, Bo, our 16-year-old, swears by it. Even when he's on the road for track with traveling, when he goes out to BYU or he went out to Oregon State this year for track camps, he took along his AM and PM. Like, he just loves them. So I always think, if I don't even have to tell my 16-year-old to take that, he just takes it because he likes how he feels. It's awesome. It's an awesome supplement. And then Nevo is the all-natural energy drink. We actually have some casinos in North Dakota that sell it. We have several gas stations. We have a guy in South Dakota that just signed up. He runs an athlete program of about 5,000 youth. And he said, I'm going to start giving Nevo to all the coaches because the coaches are walking around drinking Rock Stars and Red Bulls and all this crap. And he said, I'm going to give them Nevos. I'm like, exactly, because it's a healthy energy drink where you got some B vitamins. You get a little bit of caffeine, but it's not excessive like a Rockstar or Red Bull. It's not synthetic caffeine. It's from a natural source, from green tea. And it's literally only 50 calories. It's not going to have that excessive blood sugar spike. It's sweetened with cane sugar and stevia. So it's better for you. It's literally a better for you energy drink. So I love that. And then there's the Instantly Ageless, which is, I don't talk a whole lot about skincare. Like, in my business, I really focus, I'll be honest, on these products right here that I just showed you, especially on the Zen. But I tell you what, it's interesting how sometimes when people get on these and they see that we have a skincare line, they ask me about it. Like, just before I got on the webinar, I had this little lady inbox me, and she's from Bismarck here. She said, Renita, can you send me a couple samples of that Instantly Ageless? I think I'd like that for my bags. So tomorrow, I'll drop a couple samples in the mail for her. You know what? She may sign up for it. So for me, it's almost like I don't go out and hard sell skincare, but if people are interested in it, I mean, I just show them my before and after, and I look 10 years younger because of this Luminous line. 10 years younger. It's crazy what it did to my skin. So I love all of the products of Jeunesse. I can stand behind all of them and say, you know what? My family literally consumes all of these things. I don't put the Instantly Ageless on my face every day. Once in a blue moon, if I'm having pictures taken or something like that, I'll put it on because it literally gets rid of your wrinkles in 90 seconds. It's gone in 90 seconds. So that's kind of the whole lineup. I like how it's internal and external health. These are all the doctors that we kind of talked about. Dr. Nathan Newman, just Google this guy. He's been on 60 Minutes. He's known as the doctor who performs faceless without cutting your face. He's crazy good. He takes people's fat from their bellies and their buttocks, and he re-injects it back into their face. So like there's this episode of this guy where this guy had salivary gland cancer, where they cut out his whole side of his face. Like, it was crazy. The guy had a big notch out of his face. And so this Dr. Nathan Newman took this guy's fat stem cells from this guy, and he injected them back into his face, and the whole guy's jawline grew back. So fat stem cells will become whatever you put them next to. So like in the product, the Luminesce line, the skincare line, they use the fat stem cell therapy. It's amazing. It's amazing. I think I sent you a video on that, Mandy, like to your phone. It's super cool. And that GM Pampa, this was the guy that was nominated for a Nobel Prize for award-winning science, just super sharp. Dr. Amsalong, this guy is like a rock star over in Europe. And then Dr. Donna Antar, she's down in Florida, and she's amazing for anti-aging and athletic. She's just like still doing triathlons, and she's like in her 60s. This is the Luminesce line. We talked enough about that. It's just kind of this flip chart that oopsie, I'll go back to that. How do I get rid of this thing here? Hang on a second. Let me get rid of this. So you can kind of see, like that was this gal. Oopsie, now I took it off. This gal was the top gal. She was on the Luminesce for for basically 3 months, 120 days. She was a Mary Kay rep on this one, and this was 120 days later. It was crazy what it did. And we see really good things with acne or acne scarring too. If you guys are interested in the Luminesce line. And being a cosmetologist, Mandy, it'd be awesome for you to give out a couple samples of that, because people coming to you because they want to look hot. They want to feel younger looking, right? So that is
just yesterday I had somebody ask me about that, and I bought this product.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So like Instantly Ageless, I have a salon that I signed up out in Minneapolis. It's an Aveda salon, and the gal is awesome. So she asked me to come out there and help her because they had like an open house night at Aveda or whatever. And so I went out there, and any customer that came in, we put Instantly Ageless on their eyes while they were getting their hair done. And these women, like this one woman came in, she had dark bags so bad, I can't even explain to you how bad they were. I mean, it was terrible. And they just looked terrible. And I put that on her on one eye, and the woman literally started crying, and she said, I'm gonna need a whole lot more of that. She said, I have a wedding this weekend. My daughter's getting married. Can you give me some more of that stuff? Because like it literally, like the one bag went from black on her face to like flawless. And it was like everybody in the salon came running to look at the one bag that was still there, and then the one that was gone. It was crazy. And so that woman obviously signed up, and she's a constant consumer of the product. So sometimes in that hairdressing setting, it's really easy to say, hey, can I put a little Instantly Ageless on you? I mean, one of these little packets right here, you get a box of 50 for about $44. So it costs you about 80 cents a piece. I have women up here that are, when they do bridal parties, they do an Instantly Ageless add-on for an additional $10. They put Instantly Ageless on the bridal party's face for pictures because they want it to look like flawless and beautiful or whatever. Right. It lasts only about 6 to 8 hours, but I tell you what, people love it for that. They'll pay it. So that's the Instantly Ageless. It's great for someone, any kind of cosmetologist. And this is kind of how that works. You can see that. You should see I have a woman, an old woman. I have a picture on my iPhone. She's 80, and her whole face, you know how they have cheek wrinkles? Old women have cheek wrinkles, and her whole face is cheek wrinkly. And her daughter actually did Rodan & Fields, which is another network marketing company. And she said, oh, she doesn't need it. She said she's trying the products I've given her. And I said, but you guys don't have Instantly Ageless. And the old woman who was like 80, she said, okay, just do it on my face real quick. And I put it on her face, and her whole side of her face literally looked like a baby's butt. There was not one, it was crazy. And so the other gal, the gal that did Rodan & Fields was like, oh my gosh, Mom, look at your face. I mean, they just were freaking out at this party that I did. And the old woman's like, can you quickly do the other side of my face? So because I have to go run errands. And I was like, yeah, definitely. But the funny thing is, it's like, I mean, it literally makes them gone. They're gone. And so bags, I think I have pictures on my iPhone that are even better than this one that I can literally send you where people have black bags gone in the after. I can send you some, Mandy, because then when you show those to people, they're like, holy crap, where do I get that stuff? You know what I mean? It's like my husband Scott says, Instantly Ageless is the best product for network marketing because you don't have to wait for it to work. It works in 90 seconds. And people are like, give me some of that. So this is the Reserve. And there's videos on each one of the products, but like it says, antioxidants, obviously sweetened by nature. There's no artificial flavors or anything like that, no added sugars. Resveratrol is a huge buzzword in the anti-aging community, in the anti-inflammation community. Resveratrol comes from like the dark pigmented fruit. And resveratrol, they actually coined it on 60 Minutes. They called it the fountain of youth. So that's why they call this Reserve, is because it's loaded with resveratrol in it. Also, I've seen really good things for people that have acid reflux. that start taking the reserve. It's crazy. Like in like 4 days of taking the reserve morning and night, their reflux is like nearly gone. It's just awesome. It also has aloe vera in it, which helps with reflux too. So here's your PM, and then the AM literally just kind of talks about, that it's formulated by the Nobel Prize nominee, Dr. Giampampa, but just amazing, amazing supplement. I always tell people if they're taking some crazy multivitamin and they, some people take 5 or 6 or 7 supplements, I'm like, just get on one, get on the AM and PM and throw all the rest of that stuff in the garbage. So Detox, Ignite, Thrive, this is like my favorite thing because, Mark and I are just excellent friends, and we obviously are doing the Monday night webinars together. We got lots of big things coming out together. He actually just wrote the foreword in my book for me, but I feel like the best is yet to come with this because this literally is the market that is untapped in the USA because here's the deal, Mandy. With the whole, even though Jeunesse has done $1.1 billion this year alone, less than 5% of that is coming from Zen. So when you look at the potential of Zen, it literally hasn't got started yet, partly because when they launched in all those international markets, a lot of the Asians don't care about weight loss. They care about anti-aging. They're all skinny. They're like 90 pounds. You know what I mean? So for them, it's not a hot button like in the US. I mean, heck, people, if they got 5 pounds to lose, they think they're fat. You know what I mean? So for us over here, this is a sweet spot. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants to lose weight, look better, feel better, lose the bloat. So we're coming kind of into the biggest weight loss season where I see the biggest surge, like January 1st. I always do a run between November 1st and the end of the year to kind of get people through the holidays. And I have a ton of people that will get on board for that. And then I also start January 1st where those people that chose not to get on board are searching for like, what am I going to do? Am I going to join another gym or what am I going to do? So Detox, Ignite, Thrive, this is its own special beast. Obviously, we love the Zen Fuse shakes. Our boys have a shake a day. I love that it's got 21 grams of protein, 5 grams of fiber, so it helps with people that have poop problems, 5 strains of probiotics, which is excellent for our immune systems and our kids. The Zen Prime, that's the detox supplement, so it helps to cleanse your colon, liver, and kidneys. And then the Shape is an awesome supplement because it's got amazing ingredients in it, but what I like about it is they're all natural ingredients, and one of them helps to reset the leptin production of your body, and leptin is a hormone in your body that tells you that you're full. And so many people, because they've chronically dieted, their leptin production of their body is just haywire. So it doesn't function at all. It's crazy. And so when you get on the Zen Shape, it literally kind of resets the leptin production of your body. So after they take that supplement for 8 weeks, it's almost like everything between the blood sugar stabilization and their hormones getting balanced, it kind of resets all of that. So I love that. And then the Zen Fit, like I talked about the amino acids, our boys have this when they work out. I'm like, get rid of the Gatorade and get the Zen Fit in their bodies. You know what I mean? It's only got like 6-7 calories in it. It's sweetened with cane sugar, hardly any carbs in it, but it's literally enough to kind of keep them in the game. But what it really delivers is all those amino acids that our bodies need, so we have quicker muscle recovery and muscle healing and stuff like that. Plus the kids love it because they think it tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. So it's so good. I love that. So that's the youth enhancement system. It's kind of all of that together. And then I'm going to take you specifically to the Zen Project 8 here. Okay, so the most trusted form of marketing is word of mouth. You guys know this, right? Like people that sit in your chair, you're telling them about something, they trust you. That's kind of how it was for me. I realized in a hurry because people came to me, to my gym, that they were like, well, what should I be eating? Like, what supplement should I be taking, Renita? Just tell me what to do and I'm going to go do it. You know what I mean? So we really have a captive audience already. And then once you sign up, there's something called the J Mobile app, and that's where I sent you all those videos over for. So what my friend who's a hairdresser in the Twin City does is she might put the Instantly Ageless on somebody's eye, and she'll say, hey, listen, I'm just going to send you over a quick video on your phone, and then if you decide you want to buy, you can just hit purchase it right from that app. And so what's going to happen then is here's basically the ways you make money with this. I have a little bit of product on hand, not a garage full, just enough to hand out samples here and there for people that need them. But most people, when they want to buy, I have a lot of people that like hairdressers, they'll go wholesale to retail. So they'll buy extra and they turn it right around. And guess what they do? They just sell because people are buying their shampoo anyway and they want their box of Instantly Ageless. So they just add it right onto the bill. So hairdressers are amazing because they're kind of used to selling right out of the gates because they put that product on people's hair and people are like, okay, I'll just want to buy that, right? They just want to buy it.
Right.
And so you can either do wholesale to retail, or if you don't want to, let's say you say, Renita, I don't want to stock 10 boxes of this stuff. Then I would say, guess what? You have your phone right in your hand. Send them the link, just like I sent you. It directs it directly back to you. They can hit buy now, and then it gets delivered directly to their doorstep. So it's literally like you have like an online shop, and you don't have to have a warehouse of this stuff because it'll get shipped from corporate. And so how you make money with that is you would make the difference. So let me give you an example. That Instantly Ageless is $44 a box. When people go online to buy the Instantly Ageless, it's like, I believe it's $79 a box. Okay. So what happens is you get the difference in price. So as soon as they hit buy, you just made $40. And that just gets downloaded to your account and you get paid every single week. You know what I mean? So it's pretty easy way to be able to share it. So once you sign up, you get the J Mobile office. And I'm actually showing you a flip chart right now from my J Cloud, which is like in my back office. So it's super simple. So traditional marketing, millions are spent each week. We see traditional ads like, so for me, this is what I think about you, Mandy. You are an ad. Like how you are marketing already on social media because you're so darn beautiful and you're so healthy. And everybody's like, what on earth are you doing? I want to do it. They can just see how vibrant and positive you are. You literally, I always say, we're a walking billboard, good or bad, right? If you're walking around complaining about how sick you are every week, I mean, no one wants to follow that. But if you're walking around saying, oh my gosh, you guys got to get on board with this, people are like, holy crap, she's fired up. Like, she's energetic. She looks amazing. She's got 4 kids and she's healthy and she's a busy mom and she's making this thing work. So literally, like, you're the advertising. I'm the advertising, right? So I always tell people, like, for years, I would tell people, hey, go down to the grocery store and buy Nordic Naturals fish oil. Well, Nordic Naturals never sent me any money in the mail. And I probably have sent thousands to them to buy their product, right? You see what I'm saying? So with this, it was a product I could believe in. And when I directed traffic there, then people were like, yeah, I totally want to do it. I love these products. I love how they feel. I love how they taste. I love everything about them. So there's 6 ways of making money. You can buy wholesale and sell at retail. That's one way that hairdressers actually kind of do a lot of. I don't do a lot of that because I don't have a storefront at my house. You know what I mean? But if you do have a storefront, it's a great way to say, oh, you want a cash and carry, take it home with you today. This is how much it is. And people like, boom, they're done, right? So a lot of people will buy that way. I have a couple chiropractors in Bismarck that sell the Zen 8-week transform kits. They buy in bulk and they turn around and sell them at retail. And so they make probably $100 off of each kit that they sell right off their shelves. But it's because their customers are standing there getting a chiropractic adjustment. They want to detox, ignite, thrive. They want to lose 20 to 45 pounds in the next 8 weeks. And so they sell it. So that's one way of making money. Okay. Bonuses when you enroll new customers. So every time you sign up somebody new, you make a bonus. It's between $40 and $200, depending on what kit they get. Okay. Weekly team commission. So you are like, I kind of told you this on the phone, but when I first started network marketing, I didn't realize my husband Scott is super smart with numbers. And he said to me, Renita, it's the Metcalf principle. And I said, what does that even mean? I'm not that good at math. And he said, I'm just good at weighing and measuring people. He said, well, it's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. He's like, 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. He said, it's duplication. He said, so you go find 2 people that want to share this. They go and find 2 people. They find 2 people. They'll find 2 people. All of a sudden you have 1,000 people on your team from China, from Maui, Hawaii, from Florida, from California that you didn't even sponsor, that they knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. And so we saw that happen fairly quickly in our team. You know, we had 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Pretty soon we had 5,000 people on our team. And I was like, holy Moses. And I mean, our biggest week in our Mandy business was $33,000 in a week. And I don't say that to impress you. I say that to press upon you that the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? Like $33,000 in a week. Do you know how long I worked at my gym to make $33,000? I worked like a slave at my gym to make that. I mean, day in and day out, getting there at 5 a.m., being there till 11 o'clock at night, scrubbing the toilets, scrubbing the floor, going home and stressing about whether or not my employees were going to sign up. I mean, to show up at work the next day. I stressed out. I mean, that was so much stress for me. the overhead of my bricks and mortar. I mean, all of it. It was so, I mean, what the heck? You know what I mean? So for me, I just realized that, I mean, if you want to make an extra $1,000 a week, I mean, we did that within the first 8 weeks of doing our business. We were making an extra $1,000 a week in this business. You know, $52,000 a year for most people is significant. It's more than most people are getting paid at their day jobs. You know, so we did that fairly quickly. So I feel like it really is the sky the limit. The team commissions is huge. It's probably the biggest way you're going to earn. Leadership matching bonus. Here, I think there's another slide on this. Let me keep going here. First order bonus, there it is, $25 to $200. You get paid that weekly when people sign up, depending on the kit that they get. Everything is associated with a PV. PV means point volume, or CV, commissionable volume. We're not even going to talk about preferred customers right now because that's another way to make money. But so team commissions, there you are. Like my goal is Mark McDonald and I just launched the 444, and it's a way literally where you build your team from scratch. So there's you go out and you get 4 retail customers in a month. You get 4 people that want to buy Instantly Ageless, that want to buy Zen, that want to try the skincare or whatever. You get 4 of them in a month, retail customers. Remember, you make the difference of what they buy. So if their product, that most retail customers, we're making about $50 a retail customer. So if you get 4, you made about an extra $200 doing that a month. But then you go out with Mark McDonald's plan 444, you go out and you find 4 business builders, 4 people that want to be a wholesale customer / distributor, which is really easy where you're at because nobody knows about it. It's like brand new. You know what I mean? It's like the brand new company that's a $1 billion company that nobody knows about in the U.S. yet because they launched Asia and Malaysia and Japan and all those places first. So you want to go out and first start by getting your left and right leg. So these are the different ranks. Just to sum them up quickly, when you first get started, you're a distributor. What that means is you get started with a kit of 100 CV and you get on 60 CV auto ship. That's kind of the mandatory to be a distributor. And so that costs you as a person, like in dollars, whatever kit you want to get in on. Scott and I actually signed up at the ambassador kit when Janess bought us, which was $1,100. And the reason we got that is because I wanted a little bit of all the products. And the great thing about the ambassador kit is it was 100% tax deductible. So I can write the whole kit off as a tax deduction. Even if I'm consuming the whole thing, I can write it all off. So, but the sky is the limit. The kits run from $200 all the way up to $1,100 of what you want to spend. So that's kind of your initial investment as a distributor. And then you have to be an auto ship because they figure if you're going to be making money, you probably should be consuming these products. So they ask you to be on 60 CV auto ship, which is anywhere between $60 and $200 a month. And what does that look like? It's really whatever products you need. I never buy anything I don't need. I only buy products that I need. You know what I mean? If there's something that I don't share a lot of, well, I just don't buy that product then. For me, I buy a lot of the Zen Fit because it's a very affordable way to share Zen, because I hand those little packets out to people and say, hey, dump this in your water today before you work out. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, it's amino acids. It's totally going to help you. It's better than any pre-workout. They're like, really? Yep. And so that is awesome. Like I hand those out because they're super affordable. And usually people come back and say, okay, I want to get some more of those. Where do I get those from? And so I always only buy the products like for sampling that are super affordable. The amazing thing is, I will tell you this, Mandy, we gave away hundreds of bottles of $35 a bottle juice with Monavie. I mean, I can't believe we made the money we made with Monavie. I didn't sample 80-cent packets of Instantly Ageless. I gave people $35 bottle of juices. How crazy is that? And and we just made a ton. Like it was just on our team. On our team, there's a rank called Sapphire Elite. In our Monavie business, that was like a gold. We had a total of 48 of these people just on our team alone. 48 people won a free cruise to the Bahamas with us. So 96 of our friends, because they took their spouse along with them, 96 people won a free cruise to the Bahamas. 10 people from our team won a free trip to Israel, the country of Israel. My mom was one of them, my 70-year-old mother. I mean, it was just amazing. Scott and I and the boys have been to Maui 4 times. We'll win Maui this year too. And this year they're giving away Bora Bora, which is crazy. But anyway, the sky is the limit. I like free vacations. That's fun for me. It gets me out of the state. But anyway, so distributors, where you start, when you get your first 2 people, one left and one right, like as a business builder that says, hey, we're going to build this together. We're going to rock Reno, right? We're going to rock whatever. Maybe you like the first 2 people, to give you an example, when I started my network marketing business, I didn't even know how to begin. So I called my brother Randy, and I said, and Randy owns all the Little Caesars pizzas up here and all the edible arrangements and Dickie's barbecues in North Dakota. And he's severe asthmatic. And I call him and I said, Randy, get your butt over here. I want you to sign up for this Monavie juice. It's going to help your asthma. And he's like, okay, sis, I'll be right over. I trust what you tell me with my health. And he came over and he signed up. That was the first person I signed up. The second person I signed up, I called my friend Jacinta and Kyle Englehart. They're originally from like Jamestown area. And I said, Jacinta, get over here. I want to show you something. She goes, I'm not doing network marketing with you. And I said, get your butt over here. So she brought Kyle over. And I told Kyle, they call this juice the Viagra of the Amazon. And he said, I'll take 6 cases of that juice. and to this day, they drink the juice. And should I tell you, I'm just going to tell you something. Jacinta was just at her house 2 days ago. And I said, and they don't work their business much in the summer months because they set up grain bins. That's what they do for a living. But in the winter months is kind of when they re-engage. But I look at their business in the last 16 months with them not doing much. Maybe they work their business 3 or 4 months out of that. We just pulled up Jacinta's account yesterday. She's made $40,000. You know, she's not really, like, she doesn't ever have a party. This webinar that I'm doing for you right now, she's never done one. You know what I mean? So I just think the sky is the limit financially, but guess what she did? She signed up a couple people in Minneapolis that took off with it, that started sharing it with people who live in Minneapolis. You know what I mean? So it kind of takes on its own, once you show people how to do it, they're like, oh, this is easy. I'm going to do this. And I love the products. I love how I feel on them. You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to look younger and feel younger and lose weight? I mean, everybody does. So Jade Executive is like, you go executive first, you sponsor 2 people. The next one you sponsor 4 people. When you sponsor Pearl, you're basically have sponsored 8 people that are business builders, not customers, but business builders with you. When you're Sapphire, you've sponsored 12. And at that 12 mark, you literally, if you look at the Sapphire Executive, I mean, you get a 20% of, let's say that you sponsor the lady that was from football that you were talking about the other night, Mandy. Let's just say you sponsor that.
Yeah, she asked me.
Yeah, because she's familiar about it, right? And you're like, okay, we're going to rock this. And you know who's going to help us? Mark McDonald and Renita. Like, we're going to help, we're going to rock this business down here. And so when she starts going out and let's say 1 week she makes $1,000, well, because you sponsored her, you receive a 20% check match on that. So if she makes $1,000, you make 200. See that? Let's say she sponsors somebody who lives over in Las Vegas and that gal goes out and rocks it. Now you not only make the $200 from her, you make a 15% check match from whoever she sponsored next and whoever that person sponsored next. You get it? So like, not only do you have those first ways of making money and your team ways of making money, I mean, this gets crazy. 20, 15, 10, 5, 20. So Scott and I are Ruby director in here. Our goal is to go diamond because that's where you win Bora Bora. So I'm really excited about that because I want to go to Bora Bora. 20, 15, 10, 5. I mean, it's just crazy how the executive ranks are just crazy bonuses. So the sky's the limit. Obviously, lifestyle rewards. I love free trips. I love my boys. I love my boys paddleboarding in Maui. That's fun for us, you know. Success tips. Choose your product. This is basically how you kind of get started. Join your auto ship of 60 CV. Start using the products. Obviously, you want to be a product of the product. I couldn't sit on this webinar and sell you Bud Light. I don't drink beer. You know what I mean? So for me, it has to be something that like I totally believe in. Like, because when I believe in it, then it's not like I'm selling anything. I just kind of am sharing what I'm doing. And people are like, yeah, I want to do that. Like, I want to feel like you feel, you know? Share the Jeunesse products. I would say that 50% of the people that I sign up, there's different packages you can get in at. Basic nutritional package, basic skincare package, the Supreme package, which is $4.99, and then the Ambassador package, which is like $1,100. And then there's also the Zen packages that are not on here, but the Zen package for like the Transform kit, I sign most people up at that. That's $305 when they sign up as a distributor. Or the Zen, it's called the Zen Ambassador, Zen Supreme package, and that one is $610. Supreme package. It's like 2 Transform kits for people that want to do an 8-week run, like say a husband and wife want to do it together. Then they get the Zen Supreme kit. So it's enough for 2 people to do the whole Zen Project 8, the 8-week run. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to take you right to the Zen stuff to show you that. Do you guys have questions on that flip chart I just showed you? It's a lot.
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to take you right to my Facebook page. So like when I go to Facebook, I'll be glad when the election is over because I'm done with politics. I want to get on to changing lives here. Anyway, so looking at this, when I go to Zen Project 8, and Mandy, you're on the Zen Project 8 Facebook page, right?
Yep.
So all capital letters, Zen Project 8. So usually what I do with people when I sign them up, I make them all get on this. Now, just to let you know, I'm a certified nutrition coach, but do I think that people need to be a certified nutrition coach to do this program? Absolutely not. In fact, my biggest business builders in the past have been hairdressers. I don't know why, but people just trust them. Like they just trust their hairdresser. It's crazy. So when I go to Zen Project 8, it's kind of like the online resource where every Monday night I have everybody come here, read Mark McDonald's post. Every Monday night is the live webinar where he literally teaches more about nutrition at 8 p.m. and they're all archived. So if people want to just go back and do that, any people that want to like just get started, I always add them to this group because this group is kind of like a nutrition group. They want to know about this is nothing to dealing with the business. Like we were just talking business. This is nothing business. This is all straight nutrition. So when I sign people up, I sign them up on the Zen Project 8. And then I say, okay, I'm going to add you. These two gals are actually from my Bismarck team here. They're so awesome. I'm getting this little lady going too because she's Hispanic and she knows a ton of Hispanics. Those Mexicans, they all love to roll together. Anyway, as you go down here, just like lots of great stuff. The 7 steps to living the Zen Project 8. So it's like kind of a plug and go system. So if you say, Renita, I don't even know what to tell people nutritionally. I kind of understand the PFC. I'm like, well, plug into this. Have your people go on here and watch these things because you know what's going to happen is they're going to learn a ton. And then you don't have to take a bunch of time out of your day to go and do it. You know what I mean? So the Zen Project 8 is a great thing. When I go into this thing, check this out. When I go in here, when people sign up for the Zen Transform Kit, I'm going to go in here under Files. Do you see where my cursor is under Files there?
Mm-hmm.
When I go under Files, I literally can go here to where it says Zen Fuse Shake Comparison, where it basically is a shake between all this and the other shakes, right? The Nevo drink comparison, this and the Rock Stars. The Zen Retail Bulk Sheet, it tells you the prices of what the prices are when you order in bulk. Okay, what you can turn around and sell it for retail. The Detox, Ignite, Thrive. There's 3 books that people get when they get their Transform Kit. They're like an awesome little magazine that come in there. But let's say that you say, I don't even know, Renita, where to begin. Well, if you haven't looked at the Detox Meal Plan, you totally should look at it because it's awesome. And basically, when I open this is the manual that people get when they order their kit. It's just showing it to you online. It looks like a book, just like this. It comes in your kit. Detox, congratulations, tells you the 3 stages, tells you to weigh where people should weigh and measure themselves. So it gives you an exact plan, and people love an exact plan. Join the Zen Project 8 Facebook group, right? They make sure that they do that. Eating in 3s, PFC every 3. This is what I always do my Facebook Lives on. I just take a paper plate and I draw it out for them, show them how to do it. So these are the foods that you cut during detox week. Gluten, soy, cheese, and yogurt. Get rid of the salt. Only 250 milligrams of sodium per meal. People aren't fat. They're bloated. I always tell them that. But that's what they get rid of during detox week. We give them the sample meal plan. This is how much water, flush the excess toxins out. I'll just be honest, the average weight loss I see is probably 8 to 11 pounds, maybe 8 to 13 pounds during detox week. The most I've seen is 22 pounds, and the least I've seen is me. I lost 2 pounds. I mean, but I wasn't doing it necessarily to lose a lot of weight. You know what I mean? I'm 115 pounds. I don't need to lose a bunch of weight. I kind of just went through an 8-week run myself just so I could coach people. So I just knew what they would feel like. So when they would come back to me and ask questions, I could say, oh, yeah, that's normal or whatever. You know what I mean? Talks about breakfast. Mm-hmm. You have a PFC. Balance your plate with the protein, fat, carbs. Well, what is a protein? Okay, here's your list that you get during detox week. Here's how much you get for females and males. But you know what? I always tell people, go out and buy a food scale. It's $12 at Target, and it'll save you a lot of guessing, right? And measure bison, chicken, egg whites. This is all the proteins that they get during detox week. So during detox, we don't just starve ourselves. Many people say, well, during detox, I have women that say, I did a detox before, and I just ate fruit and vegetable juices, and I just pooped my guts out, and then I was mean all the time, hungry all the time, and then after a week, I stopped eating like that, and I went back to eating normal, and I gained all my weight back. Well, the problem is, guys, and you guys know this because you're athletes, protein helps us to maintain our lean muscle. So if we get rid of protein for a week, We just lost muscle. That was stupid, right? So of course you go back to eating a chicken breast after a week and you gain all your weight back. That was dumb. So with this program, I love it because you get to eat PFC all week long, 5 to 7 times a day. I actually eat 8 times a day, and you get to eat all the time. People literally turn on their metabolisms by eating. And so it takes them out of that starvation and that stupid calorie cutting mentality that has basically created a fat, sick, and nearly dead America. And it literally teaches people, it's like that old friend that you had that ate all the time and was skinny. Exactly. When you eat, it turns on your metabolism. So we just balance our blood sugar, PFC, every 3 hours, small portion sizes like a baby. You're like eating for performance. We all should be eating like this. So that literally tells you the list. See, so pick your protein, pick your fat, okay, and pick your carb. I always say you can't overdo fat. If you want to eat a half an avocado in one sitting, eat a half an avocado. You're not going to gain weight from eating too much fat. A healthy fat. Healthy fat actually helps us to lose more fat. When my clients get stuck at a weight, I say, okay, I want you to start eating a hard-boiled egg with a couple slices of avocado before bed. They're like, really? I'm like, yep. And then they'll call me the next morning and they'll be like, holy crap, Renita, I'm down 3 pounds this morning. I'm like, exactly. Your cells need to be nourished, and the outside of your cell wall is fat. So there's your list of proteins, fats, carbs. There's your unlimited foods. So you can just eat you literally eat like a king. Your plate is so darn beautiful because it's protein, fat, color during detox week. Pick your protein, pick your fat, and then tons of color. Bam. So easy. And then here's your suggested meal plan. 3 ounces of egg whites, 0.5 ounces of almonds. Many times I just do 2 whole eggs. 2 whole eggs and 3 ounces of berries is what I do. There's your Zen Fuse shake. And the reason the shakes are so important, you guys, because Mark McDonald did a whole webinar about why we should do solid protein, liquid protein, solid protein, liquid protein, because it actually is easier on our digestive systems. So people who just say, well, Renita, I don't want to drink those shakes. I just want to do solid protein. They just do solid, and guess what? They end up constipated. So it's very important that we do solid protein, liquid protein. It's easier for our bodies to assimilate and break down. That's why it's so awesome. So it's great for athletes too. So mid-morning, you got your Zen Fuse shake. Lunch, there's your lunch. Mid-morning, your Zen Fuse shake. Your dinner, you take your Zen Prime, that supplement. And your dinner, boom, there's all what you get for dinner. Late night, they have an optional Zen Fuse shake. I have people that make those shakes so thick, they're like ice cream. And then here's the men. Of course, men eat more than the women. So you see the 5 ounces. See how that changed? So women get 3 ounces and 3 ounces, and men get 5 ounces and 5 ounces. And again, this all comes in your cute little booklet, okay? Some detox-approved recipes. It has a few in the booklet. Talks about this again. I mean, it's just super simple, okay? So these booklets, let me go back to the top, that literally look like this, they come in your kit. When you get your kit, you'll get this booklet that looks detox, and the next one is ignite. And so the great thing about these little booklets, I'll show you this too. Oops, let me go back here. If I click on ignite, the next phase, so detox is week 1, ignite is weeks 2 through 4, so it's the rest of the month, and then thrive is month 2, it's the entire second month. So when they get their Zen Transform kit, it comes with everything to do an 8-week run. Detox, ignite, thrive. So here's the ignite booklet, the second booklet that comes in their kit. And here's what I love about this booklet. Look at this. You've never seen this before. It's awesome. It's like my favorite tool. I have these in my purse at all time. During detox week, we don't exercise because exercise creates inflammation. But during ignite, week 2 and on, of course, we exercise, and gives you examples, which are what the All Strong Mom workouts, Mandy, are set up exactly to this protocol right here. I set my workouts up with All Strong Moms according to the Zen Project 8, because I thought, boom, let's make it exact. Okay, so look at this. So during Ignite, the second phase, we get to add back in the things in the red. Shellfish, beef. We don't get beef during detox week, but after beef, and I always did eat whole eggs during detox week because I just did it instead of the nuts. But beef, lamb, pork, fat, olives, fresh fruits, potatoes, yams. See how you get to add back in oatmeal, millet, brown rice, beans. See how you get to add the stuff in red back in during the second week and beyond. And then when we pull up the Thrive meal plan, you get to add even more in, so then they list everything in red again. So you just keep expanding your palate is what you're doing. So it literally teaches you how to nourish yourself with food. It's crazy. It teaches people how to eat for the rest of their lives. Like they start feeding their families like this. That's why people like you, Mandy, and then I have a gal named Erica Shilkin. She's up in Minot. All of her kids eat PFC every 3. Like, it's like now her brother is eating. I mean, her whole family, they just all start eating like that. So I love those phase guides, but they come right in the booklet when you get in the kit, when you get the kit. So all these little resources are for you. I do have people in North Dakota that just do Zen. They don't talk about any of the skincare, but I think it'd be silly for you not to, just because you're a hairstylist and you're in a sweet spot to do that. But we have people up here that do Zen Project 8 parties, and they just skip through this flip chart. So they get their people in a group, they make up a shake. You know, like right now on my parties, I take ice, water, vanilla shake mix, and pumpkin butter from Trader Joe's, and I blend it. It tastes like a freaking pumpkin pie. People love it. And I give them a sample of that. I give them a sample of the Zen Fuse, and I basically go through this flip chart. Here's your plan. Here's your products. Here's the community and support. Here's where you want your body to be for fat burning. You don't want to skip meals, because when your blood sugar is too low, you burn muscle. When your blood sugar is over 120, you store fat. So we always want to be in fat burning. There, you know, you literally just go through this plan. Talks about what's in the prime. Boom. See that? Talks about what's in the shape. Done, done, done. Goes through the whole thing, your community and support. So like, let's say that you just want to have a Zen party where you teach people, okay, we're going to start an 8-week run down here in Reno. We're going to get everybody together to get them to lose 20 to 45 pounds in the next 8 weeks. And that's literally what I do. Like, I get people together and I teach them how to do 8-week runs. And then here's the beauty of that. Once you've done that, guess what happens? Like, let's say that you have success as a hairstylist. Now you can literally go to another hairstylist and show her what you're doing. Now you can go to a gym. Now you can go to a Pilates studio. Now you can go to a massage therapist and say, hey, what are you telling your clients to do nutritionally? Nothing. I don't know anything. You should get them plugged into this. They're like, how do I do it? And you literally just show them the flip chart that I just showed you. And if they're interested in the weight loss, which most people are, I plug them into Zen Project 8. So that's kind of the whole kit and caboodle. And on Zen Project 8, when you go there again, Mark McDonald and I last week and the week before, I do the every Monday night webinar with him at 9 p.m. Central Time. And it's for business builders only. 8 o'clock is for like the nutrition people, like the consumers that are just like losing weight. And then there's a 9 p.m. webinar that are for the sharers and the builders. So people that are building the Zen Project 8 business. And so when you scroll down to that, we could get on here. In fact, I just go to the top. I love this because I could go here and I could say, search this group. I'm going to search it for building Zen Project 8, and we'll see what comes up here. So there it is. So that was Mark McDonald and him and I were on the partnering with boutique health facilities. So once you've got your handle on this, Mandy, you literally could go to every gym. You could go to every other hairdresser you know. Because guess what? Like my girlfriend in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, she signed up, and then she signed up 3 of her hairdressing friends. Because they're like, we want to make extra money. Everybody that sits in our chair wants to look younger and feel younger, and they're complaining about their health. We might as well tell them. You know, so that was partnering with boutique health facilities. And then Mark McDonald and I did this webinar that was literally, it's not that one. Hang on, go further down. Renita Rowe, okay. It was basically on Build It. This one right here, it's a Zen Project 8 community. You can listen to this, and it shows you the 4-4-4 model, which is literally how you sponsor 4 customers and 4 distributors your first month, and you help your 4 distributors to do just what you did. The second month, you do the same thing. The third month, by the third month, you're a sapphire. By the 4th month, when I did the math on it, here, I'm going to turn this around here. You guys can see me for a second. Let's see if my picture comes up. There I am. Ah, there's my dog. I just was at, we had basketball tournaments all day, so I got a baseball hat on. Excuse me. But we did that webinar, and by the first month, it seemed like peanuts. You were making like $500. The second month, you made like $800. It was peanuts to me. By the third month, you made like $1,200. But by the 4th month, because you went out and did the 4-4 plan with everybody that you were talking to, and they were doing it, by the 4th month, you had earned $4,400. And by the 5th month, you were making $14,000 residual income. And my husband, who's the mathematician of us two, he's like, Renita, you totally underestimated that whole thing. I said, I did? Because I did it longhand. I drew it all out, just old fashioned, like I sponsor 4, they go sponsor 4. I took my dry erase board and like drew it all out. And he said, yeah, because you just did cycles. You didn't add in there all the check matches, 5, 10, 15, 20% check matches. He said, you didn't do any of that. And you didn't do any of some of the bonuses. You basically were like figuring just cycles. He said, so you totally underestimated that. I said, well, they'll be surprised then when they make more than $14,000 the 5th month. Praise the Lord. And so that's it. I mean, if you watch those, if you want to know more exactly about them, Mark and I are like putting together, he's going to do live videos like Mandy, how I sent you those things on your J Mobile app. So on my J Mobile app, my phone, like where he's going to be doing a webinar that is just for 444 oh, my dog's on my phone, to educate. So on my J Mobile app, when I pull it up on my phone here, let's see if I can show it to you. It's super simple. And I just think to myself, can you guys imagine that we built this business? Scott and I, the first 4 years, we didn't have Facebook then. We barely texted on our phones. Think about that for a second. And now I can do something like this with you in Reno. I mean, isn't that crazy? Like before, I would get in my car and I would drive to Wyoming to do a party for somebody. That's just crazy to me that I would drive. One time I drove in a blizzard to Wyoming. Anyway, to help somebody with a party. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll just do a Facebook Live, or we'll do a Google Hangout, or can we just do some training online? Not to say that I don't want to come to Reno, because I do want to come because I love the warmth. Remember, once a month, I got to get down there. And the winter months, I'll be there once a month. Because I love, and for me, I'm kind of the fire starter. Like if you get it started, I can come down there and I can really pour fire on it. And like I said to Mark, wherever we're going to grow in the USA, he's going to plug into and help. So like, let's say that you'd get a group of people together where you'd have 50 people in Reno. He would come and do a party for that. That would be huge. I mean, the guy's the ambassador for the American Diabetes Association. He's on CNN every week, He's got his own talk show, health show on TV. And so there's power in that. There's power in partnering with somebody like him and myself, because I'm just going to tell you, we're going to have, we currently do have the #1 Zen team in the country, but it's just here, and I need it to be like here. Like, it's like weight loss for me is like a passion. Health of families, especially healthy family with their athletes, is a passion, because people just have no idea how to feed their kids. And they're freaking giving them like Fruity Pebbles and sending them out to practice. I'm like, what the heck? And so for me, it's like we educate mom and dads about PFC so they get healthy during the Zen Project Day. And guess what? Now they continue to buy the shakes because they love them, and their kids are drinking a shake when they come home from practice instead of a bag of fruit snacks or instead of a bowl of cereal. Bingo, we're winning. You know what I mean? And so it literally teaches people to nourish themselves. And so it's so easy. I feel like nutrition is easy if you like it. If you like nutrition, this business is a gold mine. And you guys are kind of in a sweet spot, I'll just tell you the truth, because I'm not a hairdresser. Scott's a financial planner, and I was in the health industry. But it sounds like, Mandy, you kind of have the best of both worlds with loving health and being passionate and being hot with your hot body and being a hairdresser. And Rob, it seems like that you are into health and wellness and child athletes and performance and people kind of getting the competitive edge that they're looking for. And so I'm like, that is a sweet spot in this business. So, okay, so I talked a long time. What do you guys want to say?
I want to ask you a couple questions. That other football mom had a couple questions for me. She currently has a website that she's doing for fitness.
Yep.
And she's wondering if she can link these Zen products to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay.
That would be awesome,
okay.
actually.
Okay, and then her other question was, is there clinical data for the Zen supplements?
I'm sure there is, and keep in mind that the research and everything dealing with the Zen Project 8 is fairly new, because Mark McDonald just was contracted in officially by Jeunesse this last March. So this year, just a few, 5 months ago, 6 months ago, he was literally brought on board and contracted in for a huge stretch. So there is data. I would say it's not going to be like, you got to remember, it's not like the FDA, which I don't trust. I trust the FDA as far as I can throw them. because I'm always
Right.
like, they're still approving cigarettes. What the hell? And they're approving like things that they know are carcinogens. And, so I don't take that as much. But as far as the research and development, I feel like part of it would just be plugging into the community of what we have going on and seeing the results. I mean, even with North Dakota, we've lost 63,000 pounds of fat. So many times with people like in Minot or Minneapolis, when they're doing parties, they literally show the clip from CNN headline news where Mark McDonald and myself and several people are on there talking about talking about basically PFC every 3 like a baby. I shut the door, sorry. And so part of that is, if you want the clinical research, you can Google each one of those independent ingredients. I'm sure, and is going to be documentation. But I feel like we're not even a year in. You know what I mean? In March it'll be a year.
Right.
So there's not going to be like rock solid science. But what there is rock solid science in is homeostasis and blood sugar regulation.
Right, and that she was taught under him, so
yeah,
she knows that's legit.
For me, I just tell people, listen, our bodies don't function. In fact, I'm part of this Go Red for heart disease for these women. There's like 10,000 women in this forum, and they're still talking about eating 600 calories a day. And I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm like, listen, this is going to cause you to have heart disease because when you consume that amount of calories, it's hard on the arterial wall to gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, lose weight. That's hard on your arteries, And I said, the only thing that will permanently turn on your metabolism and permanently help you to lose weight and stabilize your blood sugar and get your diabetes, your heart disease, your blood pressure, your cholesterol under check is homeostasis. Like they're now even saying that the major thing that people are having heart attacks is not because they're eating too much fat, but it's because they have unstable blood sugar. So this is like, I feel like we're 2 years ahead of the nutrition and science industry. You know what I mean? Like we're 3 years ahead of the dietitians in the country, because remember, the dietitians were all trained under the food guide pyramid, that thing that looked like this. And it said eat 6 to 11 servings of donuts a day. What the hell? And that was put out by the USDA. So all the nutrition books that were put out by that falsified study that, that just came mainstream in the USA like 5 weeks ago, because they were paid off in a study in 1967 because the sugar industry knew that sugar and high blood sugar was causing heart attacks. And they said, we need to take the focus off of sugar. Let's make it fat. So those scientists down at Yale University or Harvard skewed the study for $50,000 back in 67, was a lot of money, to basically say the fat's causing heart disease, not the sugar. So that's why when they drew this pyramid up, remember this? The very top of it was fat. So Americans cut fat out of their diet for the last 50 years. Don't eat avocados, and they'd freaking be drinking Diet Coke and eating red licorice, and they'd be having heart attacks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, eat avocados, And so the bottom line is I as far as scientific studies, I go back to that homeostasis chart. In fact, I have that on my, I'm going to X off of this for a second and show it to you. I have that on my computer. If you would need it, I could send it over to you. So I do a lot of presentations with, here, let's go back into Publisher for a second here. I'm sorry this is taking so long, but I'll just show you one final thing. I give this to File Open. That's not that. Let me minimize this. Let me minimize that and get back to here. Publisher. Let's go. Okay, open. So I go back here, and sometimes I put together my own PowerPoints where I showed you the corporate one, because when you sponsor somebody, you can show everybody that corporate one, because that corporate one's in there. But like, let's say I wanted to talk about weight loss. I actually have a flip chart that Scott kind of, my husband, just put together for me. And I use that Zen one I showed you, that Mark McDonald one, that it's in that back office under Mark McDonald under files. But I show people the yo-yo dieting cycle. Like, right? They desperate to lose weight. They cut calories. Their metabolism starts to shut down. Will you go please shut that door for me? And though you look good on the outside, you're hungry and you're craving. Okay, so that's the vicious yo-yo dieting cycle. And then I show them this, right? Because when you skip a meal, when athletes, how many athletes go to practice and they haven't eaten anything before practice? They go right from school to practice. So now they're exercising on an empty stomach. Their blood sugar drops. Their little bodies are actually burning muscle. That is just sad. Okay. And then at that point, when you're so low, like my son, when he comes home from running 10 miles across country, if he doesn't have something in his car that he can just eat, he'll come home and he'll want to devour a box of macaroni and cheese, right? Because when you're down here, you feel like I just need to get back in the game. And so you just want to whoosh. You should have ate 2 hours ago, right? So at that point, it jacks your blood sugar over 120 from too many calories or carbs per meal. Your blood sugar spikes and your body literally stores that as fat. So I teach people that when their blood sugar is low, if they even eat a banana, which is good for you, but it'll spike your blood sugar over 120, you're storing that banana as fat. People are like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, no. So we eat healthy because we eat all those whole foods. You know, this program is literally 90% whole food eating, right? But we also eat right because we stabilize our blood sugar. So then I show the people this chart: detox, ignite, thrive. This gal has lost 100 pounds, Barb. She's kept it off. This gal went from a size 16 to a size 8. I mean, I could just show pictures all day long. So I literally show, and this is back when we had the core, but the Zen was just coming out. But so you got to remember, we had lost a huge amount of our weight on the core. So what we had was those products, and Mark McDonald set that all up. And so when Janess bought us, he said, okay, I'm only coming on board if I can take that Zen product that you have and revamp it into a program. Because we don't just want to sell products. We want to have a program that's going to set people up to win with their health. And then they just plug those supplements in. You know what I mean? So before we came into the Zen family, we never had that. They just were selling some Zen shake. And then Mark came in and he said, the Zen shake is not even balanced PFC. We gotta revamp this whole shake. You know, so which is great that Zen and Janess let them do that. They just basically gave them the whole reins. So I'm sorry. So I was going to show you that. So I can send you that over if you would like that flip chart, and you can literally pull that up on your phone to say, hey, this is what homeostasis looks like. So it's based on science of how our bodies function. That's what it comes down to. I always tell people our bodies don't function on math. Our bodies function on science. It's called biology. You know, and people are like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. I've been starving myself fat for all these years. You know?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what other questions do you have?
So in terms of startup costs, Renita, what are we looking at? I know you talked about the different packages and things like that, and then is it so much per month after that?
Yeah, so your startup package would be basically you pay $49.99 to enroll as a distributor. That's the cost. So if anyone that you know, like your girlfriend, the football mom, wants to enroll, you'd sponsor her as a distributor for $49.95, and then that's like your startup package. It's called your J kit. It comes with a little box of marketing material. It's really handy actually. And then then you're considered a distributor, but you have to order 100 CV. So what you can do to answer your question is you can go to my website and you can decide which package works best for you guys. And it might be the $200 package, or it might be the $1,000 package. It might be whatever is in your guys' budget. And then also I always tell people, get what you need that you need. You know what I mean? Like, and that I always say, make sure you have a little extra to share, because if not, you'll find yourself skimping. It's kind of like a business. When I was in business, you got to have some product. So if someone says, hey, what does that Nevo taste like? Well, you can give them a can. You know what I mean? So I always tell people, order a little extra so you have product samples. Doesn't mean you need to give away the farm. Don't break yourself with giving away samples. I don't ever give my sample to anybody that I don't think is going to either want to consume the product or get in my business. One of the two. If someone says to me, I'm not interested, okay, fine. I don't try to push it on them, because I'm like, they're not ready for it. They're not looking for anything right now. You know what I mean? So the package that you get in is completely up to you guys. You can look at it when you go to my website. You literally can see, you can click on the package, and there's a drop-down arrow that tells you everything that's in the package. And so you want to get started with one of those packages is the main thing. And then it'll ask you when you're signing up, it'll ask you a couple things. Number one, it'll ask you for your username that you want to be called. So like mine is Renew with Renita. My mom's is Young Pearl. Some people just use their first and last name. Maybe you want to use Mandy Hummel. If you guys are doing it together, maybe you want to say, you know, Nevada Janess. I don't know. Call it whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Something that people can spell, but just know that that's kind of your business name. So don't just I didn't use Renita Brannon because that's hard to spell for people. They don't know if Brannon's O-N-E-N or A-N. So I used Renew with Renita. And so, but you could use whatever you really want for your username, and then it'll ask you for your checking account information, because that's how you get paid. Every week, what you get paid is downloaded to your checking account, and then it'll ask you for you check mark the $49.99, the initial order, the J kit it's called, and then it'll ask you which kit do you want to get started with, and then you can choose the Zen Transform 8-week kit. You can choose the Zen Supreme kit. You can choose the Ambassador kit. Just look at all those kits and see which one works with your guys' budget and works with the products that you're going to be sharing. That's what I would suggest. Make sure you have everything in that first kit that gives you kind of a little bit of everything that you need. Just think about it like you're launching a business, because you are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And remember, whatever you order with that, the great thing is it is 100% tax deductible. So it's 100% write-off, which is great, because it's like your business startup. And I will tell you something else. Like when we got started with this, I didn't understand the tax benefits because I had more of a bricks and mortar business. It was like at my gym. So everything at my gym was a tax deduction, like my body bars, my kettlebells and everything. But what I didn't realize is with a home-based business, right now, like this computer that I'm doing my presentation on is a tax deduction. I have a meeting once a week at my house on my big screen TV, which is a tax deduction, which is in a 1,200 square foot room that I do every party in, which is a tax deduction. When I go places, when we go anywhere, here's my Rocco sitting on the couch with me. There's my boy. It's one of my sons. But when we go, thanks for being so quiet. But when we go places, like when you guys come back to North Dakota to visit your family, I met your father. I met your father.
I heard that.
At the pumpkin patch, and I saw your grandmother's grave, and it was so awesome. It had the heart flowers on it. It was totally a God thing. Like, what are the chances that I would meet your dad at the pumpkin patch? Did he tell you? I talked to him for like an hour. It's crazy.
I haven't talked to him since yet, but he actually tried calling when you were doing this conference here, so.
Oh my gosh.
He'll probably have something to say about it.
Tell him. I loved him. We just visited the whole time. Anyway, he's just a great guy. He was full of fire.
Well, he's someone that I need to get on some of this stuff, because he's had a heart attack, and he's a former smoker, and he eats terrible.
The reserve would be awesome. Get him on the reserve. First things first, the reserve. And of course, the PFC every 3. And I always say, if people don't want to implement the meal plans yet, be gentle with them. Get them in on a bag of shake mix and say, start having a shake for breakfast. You know what I mean? Maybe they don't want to implement the whole plan. I kind of feel people out, because not everybody wants to go all in. I'm kind of an all-in gal. You know what I mean? But not everybody is. And I don't ever want anybody to say no to something that's so phenomenal. I have a motto. I always tell people, walk with the walkers, jog with the joggers, run with the runners. Don't make everybody do what you're doing. You know what I mean? But I present it all to you so you can see it all, so you understand it all. But I would say just how you are making that list mentally, put it on paper. You know, maybe it's, Mandy, I'm going to send you a hat too, like my new All Strong Mom hats.
I do like it. I love it.
I'm going to send you a hat. I just noticed that I had it on. But make a list of everybody, you know, like of course, my mom and dad were the first people. I'm just going to tell you, I think it saved my parents' life. Like, for sure it did. Like, my mom and dad, to this day, consume the Monavie products. They consume the Reserve. My mom's on the AM and PM. They have a shake a day. Like, I think it literally saved my folks' life. I'm not kidding. Because they, you know, we're German. We're German. Fleisch, Kekle, Kuchen, Placenta. That's all they knew. And so for me, if that's the only thing that doing network marketing has done in the last 10 years, well, then it was worth it for me. I've elongated my parents' lives, you know? So it's been a huge blessing for us in that sense. So make a list of every single buddy you know, and friends, family, coworkers. And some people, like, I would make a little star by them when I make a list. I still have lists to this day, guys. Like, I make a star by them if I just, if they're going to be a business builder, if I think, you know what, that person has business building potential. They seem sharp. And then some people are just pure consumers. You know, they inbox me and they say, Renita, I'm ready to lose weight. Well, then I don't talk to them about all this. You know what I mean? I just say, let's rock your 8-week run. Let me show you how to get started with that, and let me show you how to plug into the system so you have the best success you can have. You know what I mean? And so you kind of feel people out to see where they're at. You know, my brother, I wanted to sign him up right out of the gates as a distributor because he's sharp with money. My best friend, Kyle and Jacinta, I wanted to sign them up as a distributor because I knew, even though I had never done network marketing, I knew I was going to rock this. And trust me, the fact that they made 40,000 just in the last, whatever, 15, 16 months, they're not complaining about that. You know what I mean? I mean, that's residual income for them. And so to make a long story short, every time I travel, it's a tax deduction. So if you guys do sign up, let's say your dad, and you come back to North Dakota, well, guess what? Your place of business with your network marketing business is your house. So wherever you go, if you go to school, if you go to Las Vegas, if you go to North Dakota, whether it's planes, trains, and automobiles, all that is a business deduction. So now every time you come back to North Dakota, it could be a tax deduction. So it makes you, if you guys are W-2 paid employees, you become super, 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 super tax efficient with this home-based business. And when I first started, I had no idea about that. Like I had no clue about that. But my husband Scott did, and he said, we are becoming super tax efficient. And because everything like my cell phone, you know, is a tax deduction. My computer is a tax deduction. Mileage is a tax deduction. And so I just got a calendar and I started jotting things down. You know what I mean? Talk to somebody at Cashwise. Talk to somebody when I was in Fargo. You know, I just started jotting things on a calendar, and it was mileage. And at the end of the year, our first year, I think in network marketing, I think we got $12,000 back. I was like, what the hell just happened? Like it was crazy what it did for our taxes, because we were like Trump says, we were using the tax laws, but the average employee doesn't know about the tax laws. They don't know that like you can become tax efficient by starting a business. Hello, you know? Anyway, so that's a whole nother story, but keep that in the back of your mind. But you're like me. Instantly, I thought of 5, 6, 10, 20 people that I knew that just needed the product. That's where my heart was. I was like, I'm going to get everybody that I know that has hot flashes on this thing. After those old women came back at my Silver Shoes class and said, Renita, we don't have any more hot flashes. After Scott hasn't had a migraine headache, if I just met a person with a migraine headache, I would say, you got to get on this. Like I felt like bad if I didn't tell them about it. You know what I mean? And it was crazy. It changed people's lives. We had this young man in Fargo his name is Jake Levine. His dad's an eye doctor down there. He got chronic migraines, and we met them at a track meet. And my son Bo and his Jake are very good friends. Actually, he went out with us to the national track meet in Sacramento, California, where Bo placed nationals. But Jake went along with us. He's now a family friend of ours. Actually, I think we met when they were about 11, and he was getting these migraine headaches. And we said to the eye doctor, Dr. Dan, we said, you got to get him on Monavie. He's like, well, what's Monavie? Well, we got him on it. Well, Jake, that whole year, he went from having migraines every week or twice a week to like one migraine in the whole year. So it literally shifted the course of this 11-year-old's life. So I always felt like guilty if I didn't tell people about it. Just like with weight loss, when people are still dieting and they say, oh, I started this program where I'm on 1,200 calories and I can't eat any meat for detox and I'm detoxing. I'm like, oh my gosh, do I have to tell you something? Like I actually feel guilty if I don't tell them, because I'm like, you're going to get fatter when it's done, you know, because your body's going to store that as fat instead of burning fat. You want to burn fat. We want to be in homeostasis. And so I don't know. I just think you guys are super sharp. Mandy, what I've seen on you on Facebook, I'm just super impressed with you, and I really like your father-in-law. He's a good guy. Like,
Yeah,
he was telling me about God and how he said, I told him, you're sharing your faith right now, because we were talking about faith or something. And he said, I don't know if I do a good job of that. Well, then he started telling me about your grandma. And like I said, well, don't you realize you just shared your whole faith and your belief in God with me when you showed me all of this stuff with your mother and you planting those 2 flowers and it turning into a heart. And he goes, and I told everybody about that. I showed everybody that picture. I said, good. You know, and so he was so cute that day. But anyway, tell him hi from me when you talk to him.
Will do.
Yeah.
So a couple other questions. So people that don't want to like market the business, but they just want to buy products, do you just set them up through that app then
Yes.
to order stuff, or do you just order and send it through? How do you do that?
Well, basically, I would do one or two things. I would send them the link from my phone, okay? Or the second thing I would do, if they're sitting with me, let's say that you guys we're sitting together. Hey, Rocco, will you go grab my plug-in for my computer real quick? I think it's downstairs it's in the living room downstairs. I would go right to my website. Do you see down here in the bottom? I'm typing my web domain name in there. renewwithrenita.janessglobal.com. Like you guys would put your domain name in there. And as soon as you sign up, you have your domain name instantly. So instantly you can start sharing with people. So I would either send them from my app, because they, just like Mandy, when you got it, it says buy now, join now, text Renita, call Renita. I think that's what it said below the video that you got sent from me. Or that's the number one way I would do. But the second way I would say, if they're sitting there and you're talking to them, pull this right up. So there's 2 ways people can join. Basically, they can go to my website. There's 3 ways, actually. The first way is they can go to my website, and let's say that they just are going there and they want the Zen Project 8. I signed up somebody last night. She just wanted the Zen. I said, go to my website, click on nutrition, and click on Zen, the Zen body. So she went there. She clicked on this. See how I just went to my website and I clicked on nutrition and Zen body. And they can watch all the videos. The videos do all the talking for you. There's Mark McDonald. Let him tell people about it, you know? And then there's all this, and then go all the way down, Detox, Ignite, Thrive. They can watch all the videos, explains to them each of the stages. It's so nice. It's easy. And then they get all the way to the bottom, view products. They click on that. There's recipes that they can get, or they view the products. And when they go there, they say, which product should I get? And I say, make sure that you purchase the Zen Transform Kit. So right here, boom, Zen Awaken, Zen Commit, Zen Transform. Add to cart, $355. Now, when they put that in their cart, they're buying. So let me just click on it so you can see. So there it is. It's just done instantly. What else is in there? There's something else in my cart. I don't know why that's on there. I must have showed somebody else something else. But I'm going to my cart now. Okay, so they add that to the cart, and it's an online shopping experience. They're going to check out. Let me just get rid of this out of there so you can see a true total. Hang on a second. So did you see that it was $355? And we get that over there. So, yep. So it's $355. So basically, when they bought that, their wholesale price for you and I is $305. But when they put this in their cart, they proceed to the checkout. We just made $50 when they bought that, because we make the difference in price. So it's called the retail sales. And now they would just put all their shipping information in, and then boom, they're done. Okay, that's the first way they can buy. So if they go to your website, let's go back to your website again. Anytime they click on any one of those products initially, they can just put it right in the cart and check out. And when they do that, whether it's skincare, nutrition, whatever, as soon as they put it in the cart and check out, guess what? You receive the difference in price for that. You don't have to ship it. You don't have to worry about it. It's getting shipped from corporate. It'll be at their house in about 3 to 4 days, maybe 2 because you guys are in Reno. It'll be there really simply, and you just boom, made $50, just like that. So that's the first way you make money. They go to their website, and they just buy now, or they put the product in their cart. The second way is like you are doing. You're going to go to my website that I texted you, and you're going to click on Join Now. Okay? And when you click on Join Now, and I tell you what, look for the Asians. They're crazy about this stuff. Asians are crazy about anti-aging. And it's foreign people in general are crazy about anti-aging, whether it's nutrition or skincare. These are all the countries we're available in. Boom. 130 of them. Click on USA. Continue. This is how your sign-up is going to look when you go sign up at my website. I agree. You can read all that stuff and click on that stuff. If you want to read all the financial rewards, you certainly can. Some people like to print it out. Not a bad idea. Continue. So I go through that whole thing here, and then I basically did this sheet that you guys are going to get to. So this would be somebody that is joining your team as a distributor. This would be for the football mom, Mandy. So it'll say sponsor name. Now, this is what you guys will be at. You'll see mine. Renew with Renita. So now did I just lose go find my plugin.
I was worried that was going to happen.